guys. This is #1 New York Times bestselling author, award-winning filmmaker, and the chairman of the Israeli-American Tennis Foundation, Ian the Poet I. Halperin. You see my bookshelf back there is empty. There's a reason why. Enough of the academia. There's the old saying, education without action leads to sterility. Action without education leads to disaster. Right now, what we desperately need is solidarity. I send my utmost respect, peace, and love first to the protesters, the victims, and the families of the victims during the atrocious oppression by the police in the United States. It must be stopped now without any pity, without any mercy. The time for change is now. But when I read in the papers or on social media about tweets coming from Nick Cannon, Stephen Jackson, Desean Jackson, there's no difference, folks. I have spent the last 5 years producing content about contemporary anti-Semitism. I did the Roger Waters movie a couple of years ago, and let me tell you something. Waters called Israel worse than Nazi Germany. It's the only reason why I did the film. My father's a Holocaust survivor. He hid in a hole for several years. His family died of starvation. Next to him, he survived, and hence I'm here. But for people in today's day and age to make anti-Semitic remarks and not be held accountable, I must take them to task. Remember when Donald Sterling, he made those atrocious statements against African Americans? He was banned from life. Desean Jackson gets a slap on the wrist. Dwayne Wade comes out in support of Nick Cannon's anti-Semitic statements, and then he retracts them. I'm sorry, Dwayne Wade. You must be held accountable too. You know, the guards in Auschwitz, after a lot of the Jews burned, they said, I'm sorry, this shouldn't have happened, I feel bad. It's too late, the damage is being done. Dwayne Wade should be fired by TNT for making the support he did on Twitter for Nick Cannon. If it was a Jew saying those statements or a Caucasian against African Americans, Donald Sterling was banned from life from the NBA. Desean Jackson gets a slap on the wrist. And Adam Silver, Jews, just because you're Jewish, it doesn't mean you're immune from anti-Semitism. And there's a plethora of anti-Semitism permeating the NBA, the NFL, and other professional leagues. And it must stop now. When I did the Roger Waters movie, he called Israel worse than Nazi Germany. And then he'd go on stage in a Nazi uniform, Nazi-like uniform, calling for the destruction of Israel and saying that Israel's worse than Nazi Germany, the most false statement I've ever heard. Picture this. If Waters was wearing a white sheet on stage calling for the re-enslavement of African Americans, what would have happened? He would have been shut down, probably killed after the first concert, and the tour wouldn't have resumed. But when he calls Israel worse than Nazi Germany, not one arena owner at the time banned him. They let him play. He had one of the highest grossing tours ever. He laughed his way to the bank, all at the expense of the Jewish people. This must stop now. This message is a wake-up call to everyone. You know, there's lots of Jewish groups out there fighting, but unfortunately, my brothers and sisters, most of them are masters at fundraising and fun. You look at all of them. Where are they now when we need them most? Stand With Us, ISGAP, APAC, Moishe Gap, Yenta Gap, Shmenta Gap. They're masters of fundraising, but we need action. We need their voices more than ever, and they're barely making a whisper. So I'm calling everyone to be unified, not have double standards, everybody to be on the same page. You know, Dwayne Wade, I love the guy. Best basketball player athlete ever in Miami, Wade County. But to make those statements, I'm sorry, it's indefensible. Wade must be fired from TNT. You look at his partner in crime, the king, number 23. And let me tell you, 23, he's not even 2 or 3. He's no Bill Russell with all those rings. He's no MJ 6'6". For me, LeBron James, seriously, he's no Kobe Bryant. He's not even in the top 10. The man's 3 for 8. And he bought his championships. And King James, where are you? You're there when Black Lives Matter. That's fine. I'm there too, brother. But when my people are massacred in Pittsburgh, New Jersey, all over the world, you don't stand up for anybody with a lesser tan than yourself. And that's a double standard. So to everybody, let's wake up. Let's unify. Let's take action. Please watch my movie on Vimeo, on demand, or Amazon. It's called Wish You Weren't Here. It's about contemporary anti-Semitism and prejudice in this world. It's about Roger Waters, but it's also about all the hatred going on in the world today. Also, I wrote a new book about the disease. I hope this message finds everybody safe and well. It's called COVID-19, Reflective Wins in the Deadly Corona. It's available on Amazon.com. Stay safe, stay well. Peace, love. Let's all be together. We're all in this together.